So I'm not making this video as a way to say that something's fake news or infer that right-wing media or left-wing media is fake news. I think that fake news is something that was really created in order to, try to put down something that doesn't fit your ideology or agenda. While certain news agencies and oftentimes the mainstream media, they'll say something that is wrong, but I think for the most part, these members of the mainstream media are not doing it innately on purpose, whether you're right wing or left wing. If you really want to know what fake news is when people write articles that are fake. They're actively trying to mislead people, and that happened all the time during the last election cycle. And Donald Trump believed it when it had to do with him, when it pumped him up. So I was on Facebook and I kind of saw this article that was reposted by a Facebook friend by Joe Arpaio. Every single American needs to see this. Bernie freaks when Christian refuses to deny faith for Islam. So when I saw this, I was like, wow, that's horrible. I need to look into this and I need to see exactly what happened. So, of course, I clicked the article to see, what I could find out. I wanted to see how it is that Bernie Sanders freaked when Christian refused to deny faith for Islam. So it brought me to this page, this Conservative Tribune page, titled Bernie Freaks When Christian Refuses to Deny Faith for Islam by Ben Marquise. It was written on the 8th. This shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone, but Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders is having trouble understanding the Constitution, and in this particular case, its prohibition against a religious test for public office. When I read this, I was like, my gosh, we really need to do something about this if he is imposing a religious test on somebody. During a confirmation hearing Wednesday for an office of management and budget nominee, Sanders was clearly trying to impose a religious test on a Trump administration nominee. I mean, you just said that. About halfway through the Senate Budget Committee hearing of nominee Russell Vought, Sanders asked him directly about his Christian faith. His question related to a line taken from a blog post Vought wrote in January of 2016. Now, if you want some background, a coworker who was a professor wrote something that was pro-Islam, pro-Muslim, and the guy got fired for what he wrote. Now, he does teach at a Christian college. I think it says it later on in the passage. But then Russell Vought, he came back with kind of, something you shouldn't really say if you're a professor and if you're wanting to run for public office. So, according to the article, Bernie Sanders you wrote, Muslims do not simply have a deficient theology, they do not know God because they have rejected Jesus Christ, his son, and they stand condemned. And he says, do you believe that statement is Islamophobic? Sanders asked. Absolutely not, Senator. I'm a Christian, and I believe in a Christian set of principles based on my faith, Vought replied. That post, as I stated in the questionnaire to this committee, was to defend my alma mater, Wheaton College. That was the college, a Christian school that has a statement of faith that includes the centrality of Jesus Christ for salvation. And Bernie Sanders talks over him. I apologize. Forgive me. We just don't have a lot of time, Sanders interrupted. Do you believe people in the Muslim religion stand condemned? Is that your view? As Vought attempted to once again explain that he was a Christian, Sanders cut him off, shouting, I understand you are a Christian, but this country is made of people who are not just. I understand that Christianity is the majority religion, but there are other people of different religions in this country and around the world. In your judgment, do you think that people who are not Christians are going to be condemned? And then he responds, as a Christian, I believe that all individuals are made in the image of God and are worthy of dignity and respect, regardless of their religious beliefs. I believe that as a Christian, that's how I would treat all individuals, Vaught responded. And here's the video. After Vaught once again refused to denounce what he wrote in the blog, Sanders said, I would simply say, Mr. Chairman, that this nominee is really not someone who this country is supposed to be about, adding that he would be voting against confirming the nomination. Essentially, Sanders is insisting that anyone who believes there is only one way to salvation, which includes Muslims, by the way, are not fit to serve in public office, while trying to expose Vaught as unsuitable for office. Sanders instead revealed it's him who has an utter disrespect for our nation's Constitution. The fact that Vaught holds Orthodox Christian beliefs and has written about them publicly has no bearing on whether he is an acceptable nominee to work in the Office of Management and Budget, or any other public office for that matter. Sanders' choice to focus on Vaught's public statements regarding the Christian faith shows his staunch opposition to Christians and should be concerning to anyone who believes in our Constitution, our nation's heritage of religious liberty. And to think this man could have been president. Please like and share on Facebook and Twitter so everyone can see how Bernie Sanders attacked the nominee for the Trump administration over his Christian beliefs. So under further review, I can only conclude that this is either a clickbaity article or somebody who is so biased that they don't understand the point of what Bernie Sanders was trying to say. Now, Bernie Sanders isn't trying to condemn Russell Vaught for being a Christian, and he's not trying to have him denounce his Christian faith for Islam. He is not trying to make a religious test for this possible public official. He is asking him, is your belief that
Muslims do not simply have a deficient theology. They do not know God because they have rejected Jesus Christ, his son, and they stand condemned.
Because he wrote about it in a blog post. And when he says that, do you think that what you said was Islamophobic? And when Russell Vaught responds with,
absolutely not, Senator. I'm a Christian, and I believe in a Christian set of principles based on my faith. That post, as I stated in the questionnaire to this committee, was to defend my alma mater, Wheaton College, a Christian school that has a statement of faith that includes the centrality of Jesus Christ for salvation.
That doesn't have anything to do whatsoever with his question, okay? Because Russell Vaught contradicts himself and then ends up saying,
thank you for probing on that question. As a Christian, I believe that all individuals are made in the image of God and are worthy of dignity and respect regardless of their religious beliefs. I believe that as a Christian, that's how I should treat all individuals.
So I still don't understand how he's made a religious test. And I know what people would be thinking. What if it was the other way around? What if it was a Muslim person who was part of a Muslim majority college saying these things, saying that Christians should be condemned? Well, then I'd say the exact same thing. That person isn't fit to serve office. Now, does, the guy's new job, the guy's possible new job being the Office of Management and Budget, does it really have to do with, what he said? Not really, okay? And I do think that Bernie Sanders is making a sort of pissing contest out of that. But at the end of the day, he's still serving Muslims, right? And if it's his belief, now I don't believe that this is his belief. If it is his belief that because Muslim people do not accept Jesus Christ as their Savior and the Son of God, that they should be condemned. I think it's something that he said, and it's not taken out of context, but he said it about another matter, right? Do I think that you have to hold the belief that that Muslims can't be condemned or aren't condemnable? No, I don't think that you need to hold that belief. But keep it inside. Don't let people find out, or you're definitely not going to win for public office. That's all I have. It's Biased Political Agenda. This, in my opinion, is not fake news. Okay? It's a clickbaity title, and the author took a lot of what Bernie Sanders said out of context in order to attempt to go around his own personal or her own personal agenda. That's all I have. It's Biased Political Agenda, and I'm out. Peace.